Starstruck.
The graham cracker was actually created to stop people from masturbating.
No way. I thought that was Kellogg's cereal. Is it one in both?
It might be, but I don't.
You mean like it's so bland? Like it, is that, you know? Time to go into headphone land. I like to think that there would be something that was the opposite. What's the food to encourage masturbation? Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yeah, that's a less trodden topic. I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah, you know, what are you gonna do? Mm-hmm. All right, back in headphone land. Had my hat on all day, so I'm used to stuff on my head.
Am I coming in loud and clear, sir?
Yep. How about me?
You are coming in loud and clear.
Good.
Are you cozy where you're at?
I think so. I think this will work just fine. Let me get some chip on my... All right.
And here we go. Hello and welcome to Joyride. I am Jared Brandon Flandy, and today with me I have...
Kyle Dauterman.
And this is the podcast that is not about the destination, but about the journey. Welcome back, Kyle. I'm glad to see you here, and I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. You know, I think everything's going well. You know, I was even better before you told me that this is the last day where we have sunlight at 7 o'clock. But
oh, sorry. I depressed you.
It's okay. We'll make it. It'll be okay. Happy to get back into this great story.
Well, everything is not going to be 100 degrees every day anymore.
No, that's a good point.
And that makes me happy.
That is a good point.
So, yes. So, we're moving on to part 3 of the Barefoot Bandit saga here, okay? Mm-hmm. So, where we left off last time is Colton had stolen an airplane.
Yep.
Managed to land it and survive.
Yep.
And then he went about some other thieving, including robbing a grocery store, and then left some contaminated blood unintentionally. So the heat's kind of on him extra. And then on top of that, at the very end, he decides he needs to leave Orcas Island, you know, due to the attention. But he doesn't do it with a car or an airplane.
And I'm ready to find out.
Okay. So... here we go. This is part 3 of the script. All right. Even though it was dark, Colt had his faithful friend the Moon to help him find the way. Like a creeping cat, the Barefoot Bandit made his way to the boats that were moored at Smuggler's Villa Resort. Colt, being someone who liked to travel in style, didn't just grab onto someone's tiny little dinghy, but instead chose a 30-foot catamaran called the Blackfish. Go big or go home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only problem was Colt did not know how to operate the boat's complicated ignition system, so he decided to move on.
Yeah.
Okay. He surveyed the rest of his offerings and settled upon a 26-foot harbor craft that earlier beforehand had been loaded with supplies for a fishing trip. So he's got everything he needs.
There you go.
So as you've gathered, he's deciding to go by boat to get off this island, and all on his own, at night.
Funny that, you know, with his previous experience with the Cessna and the flight simulator, he was able to get that on, get it out, and then he gets on the boat and he's like, I got no idea. Let's move on to a different one.
He doesn't care. He just his attitude is, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: is like at least with Flight Simulator, he's got an advantage. There isn't Boat Simulator.
Not yet.
Not yet. Now we
yet.
say that someone's working on it. Okay, but anywho, so fortunately for our Jack Sparrow wannabe, the keys were left in the boat.
Is that common?
It's not uncommon because who steals a boat at night?
Yeah. I mean, you can only go so many places.
Who would be crazy enough to do that?
Yeah. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. Colton Sparrow fired up the boat and sailed into a dark and unpredictable sea. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay. Our sailor boy did have a GPS system, but even though that was helpful, it would only help him so much. The Sahelish Sea is not one that always has a cuddly vibe.
Mm-hmm.
The GPS system told him where the major land masses were at, but it did not tell him where the 743 rocks of the San Juan Islands are located.
There you go.
Yeah. To make matters worse, during high tide, only 428 of them are visible. Landmines everywhere, in other words.
Yep.
There are also because this is the Pacific Northwest, so there's also the hazards of floating logs. And when you combine all these things, sailing at night is about as dangerous as eating a chili cheeseburger before boarding a transatlantic flight.
Equal levels of danger.
Well,
this is sort of a preview to the shipwrecks episode.
It kind of is in some regards.
To tie it back into the theme of the season being the Pacific Northwest, I mean, the waters of in and around the San Juan Islands are pretty dangerous. So is the mouth of the Columbia. Just so many of the waterways in the Pacific Northwest are just very unpredictable. So,
and growing up here, I never realized that. In fact, I read somewhere as a younger youth than I am now that the Oregon coast is considered one of the most dangerous in the world, apparently.
It makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense.
And that's why we have so many lighthouses and are famous for having all these scenic lighthouses along the coast is part of that reason.
Yeah.
So our Pacific Northwest Jack Sparrow somehow navigated his way through the troubled waters and managed to reach Friday Harbor on San Juan Island, where he docked the boat at the University of Washington's Marine Science Center. Okay. Colton Sparrow simply let the $100,000 boat float back out to sea, but it was found beached the next morning. So
yeah, waves tend to push. That's so funny. That really. One of my favorite things about that is that he just got off the boat and, much like Jack Sparrow, was like, all right, my job's done here.
Yeah,
all right.
No, that's kind of what I was kind of being facetious when I dubbed him that, but that's really what that kind of reminded me of.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of nonchalant attitude.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Over the next few days, the Bandit apparently had decided to lay relatively low, but then on, of all days, September 11th, 2009, a small plane was seen taking off at the San Juan Island airport. Colton had decided to go flying again.
What is with people and leaving their keys and stuff, man? I mean, come on.
Who's going to steal an airplane, Kyle?
I got one guy.
Well, he's the only one.
I'd just be so terrible. It feels like after this, there's got to be some sort of insurance,
I'm sure.
Thing now
I'm
that's
sure,
like,
yeah.
Hey, you can't store the keys in the ignition. Mm-hmm. Just an idea.
The Cessna 182 he stole from Bob Rivers, which was the first one he stole, right?
Yeah, the one he crashed in Tribal Land over the Cascades.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is considered a better plane for an inexperienced pilot. However, the plane Colt was flying now, a Cirrus SR-22, a $700,000 hot rod, is not recommended for those who have just got their pilot's license, let alone never got one in the first place.
Yep.
So, part of the reason for this is the SR-22 has more horsepower and a low wing configuration, which is only recommended for experienced pilots. So it's a hard plane to maneuver, is what I gathered.
Sure.
Even though it's fast and powerful.
Yeah.
It also had a joystick control instead of a more standard wheel.
Okay.
So something he may not be as familiar with. The fact that he's flying at night also makes the task even more compromising, like the boat.
Oh, he took off at night.
He's at night. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so last time it was daylight for the most part. Now it's at night. Even though the plane had a full tank of gas, Colt decided to return to where he had just recently left Orcas Island.
It's like a magnet, man.
I
It's
guess.
like, goodness.
Luckily for the Bandit, the San Juans are not densely populated, so this makes it easy to see the lights of a runway flashing down below.
Sure.
Okay. Colt dipped the nose of the plane down and eventually made contact with the airstrip. It was a bumpy landing, but he managed to bring the plane to a stop and with minimal damage.
Hey, there you go.
He's getting better, I guess.
I like that. Minimal damage. We only broke the $700,000 plane a little bit.
Well, unlike the last, this one was, you could still hop in it and fly it. There may have been some damage to the gear or something like that,
sure.
But it was overall in pretty good condition.
Okay.
Yep.
Comparatively to the last time, we're improving.
Yeah.
I wonder if part of the idea behind that for him was his understanding of flying and airspace. I wonder if he thought, I can't fly this up and over the big city again, or else I might get attention. And last time he had to kind of ditch the plane and make his way to a freight train, and ride it all the way. So maybe just realized, I want to do something stupid, but I want to do it smarter this time.
Yeah, and here's the thing. He can't land at a major airport, obviously, because he'd be swarmed once it came in by just, not even maybe police, but just curious, air traffic controllers.
Yeah.
So his only choice really is these really small, remote airports where there's probably no one, I would assume, no one on duty that night,
Yeah. And I doubt he knows how to operate the radio really and know how to tune into it. So even, you wouldn't have you'd just be landing visually at a big airport like that. You'd be likely to kill somebody just as much as yourself. I mean, another plane.
So, Bill Anders, a retired Air Force pilot who was living on Orcas, owned a similar aircraft, a Columbia 400, otherwise known as a Cessna 400 Corvallis. So he knew what Colt was up against. Aside from the Air Force, also on Bill's resume was a little flight called Apollo 8.
Yeah, pretty good one.
Where he and two other astronauts became the first humans to fly around the moon in 1968.
Wow.
Yep. So keep in mind who this guy is, okay?
Sure.
Anders said he's very lucky. And then continued to say, but given the choice between luck and skill, I'll take luck any day.
I love that from the guy who made it around the moon in 1960s technology. I wonder why he's
in favor of luck over skill.
I think on those missions sometimes how, kind of bold and dumb they were in some ways.
Kinda.
Yeah.
It really is kind of bold and dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Impressive, but bold and dumb.
Yeah.
That should be NASA's new slogan. Even though Colt had returned to Orcas, he did not stay long since he stole another boat and made his way to Point Roberts, a strange enclave of the United States that is surrounded by British Columbia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kids have to take the bus through Canada
so you know
to
what
go
I'm
to
talking
school.
about. Yeah. It's this weird little piece of the United States that just has Canada all around it, and the only way to get in and out of it is to go through Canada.
It's one of those really bizarre border things that at some point we'll probably figure out.
At that time, if you wanted to cross the Canadian border without having to go through a traffic checkpoint, all you had to do was walk across an invisible line in a rural area, and bam, you are now in the land where the people are born with ice skates on their feet, and a Tim Hortons donut shop is available on every street corner.
But it really is like that. There really is nothing. It's just...
No. It's
an invisible line.
It's getting tougher due to the political conditions of today, but generally it's considered the most unprotected border in the world. You could literally just walk across it.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. Colt did not waste time and managed to procure a BMW.
Oh, naturally.
Naturally, yeah. His plan was to visit his friend Josh, who did time with him in Green Hill School. Colt asked if he wanted to go on the run with him, but Josh declined.
Oh, that's good of him.
Life was working out for him, and he had no intention of going back to jail.
I like that.
I mean, yeah.
There you go.
He's like, well, you got your shit together.
Reformed.
Yeah, I guess I can't knock that, but I'm gonna keep doing my thing. So see you later.
That is hysterical.
So,
hey, man, good on you, but I'm out of the game.
Yeah. With this news, Colt proceeded to go on his merry way. Burglaries that matched his MO popped up across BC, but finally Colt ended his Canadian journey by dumping the BMW near the town of Creston, BC, which is right on the border with the American state of Idaho. Colt, of course, beelined for his favorite place of any community, the nearest regional airport.
So he went really far east. I mean, all the way to the border of Idaho. It was very far east.
So he traveled through most of British Columbia.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
if you're outside of North America, the Canadian provinces are a lot bigger typically than American states. So, yeah, he made some distance. He had made his way through the hangars. He managed to somehow just get into these. Apparently, they're either, one, not well protected, or he's just learned the security systems that well.
Yeah, I think at a certain point, people also think, what am I protecting against? I mean, who's going to steal a plane? I mean, other than this story, I can't think of many high-profile plane thefts. It just doesn't really happen.
I mean, unless it's something really big, but just like theft of small aircraft, no, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And so it's what I've got. It sounds like a lot of these hangars just have nothing but a padlock to keep the door closed, which anyone knows with a pair of,
bolt cutters just around.
Yeah, that could be remedied easily.
Yeah, or a side door or something that just happens to be unlocked.
Jerry rig it. It sounds like that's what he's been doing a lot of it.
You prop a door open. Yeah.
So, I'll start over here again. He made his way to the hangars and helped himself to whatever canned food or power bars he could find. Again, he's usually just stealing stuff that he needs, with the exception of the airplanes.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, but the airplanes were things he was more selective about, however. He initially found a classic Cessna, but considered it too old for his tastes. He finally decided on a tried-and-true plane, a Cessna 182. So similar to basically the same model he stole last time. Many modern planes do not have sophisticated ignition systems that modern automobiles have.
Okay.
Since, people tend to steal cars far more than they tend to steal airplanes.
Exactly, as we've previously stated.
Colt knew he didn't have the key, so he simply had to shove a screwdriver into the ignition and turn it.
Just a flathead.
I don't know if he's taking the hammer like what you used to do in an old 70s car, but yeah, in a flathead probably. The problem was he did not know this particular plane had a finicky ignition. So as he kept cranking it over, he eventually drained the battery. With the ignition fried, Colt knew he would not be flying tonight. Instead, he switched to a tried and tested method, stealing a car.
There you go.
Here's the thing. They usually, here we go into this, okay? So pilots who fly on a regular basis have a fear of forgetting about leaving their keys at their point of destination.
Yeah.
So to avoid the possibility of not being able to drive their cars when they return to the airport of departure, they usually leave the keys to their car at the airport they departed from. Make sense?
This story would be not a story if people would just put keys on one key ring and then just live like that. This is this is not even about him. It's more about people putting keys in stuff that they don't need to put keys in. I mean, come on, folks. What are we doing?
So to segue from that directly, that was something that Colt knew and took advantage of.
Yeah, there you go. You can't see my face, listeners, but I'm intensely disappointed.
He looks very disappointed, everyone. By this point, he had regularly used his intellect to get around security systems. He got into one particular hangar by simply cutting the power cord that ran to the hangar's security system. Well, that's easy.
Well,
yeah. Your face again.
Yeah.
Inside, he found a white 2009 Toyota Corolla. As luck would have it, and per the typical pilot habit, The keys to the car were hanging inside the hangar.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It defies logic.
I bet if we have some pilots listening to this now, the habits are going to start changing real quickly.
Yeah. Or maybe they already have.
Or maybe they already have because of this, yeah. But,
Especially these small airports and stuff where there's, at a big airport, there's lots of security measures, and you're not going to leave your keys in your car at PDX. But, maybe I guess at these small places, all the people that are coming in and out, and that's probably a lot of how he was able to get away with things, is that there's just not a lot of security at these places to begin with, because people assume who's going to come here.
A lot of trust. And I thought trust was dead, but I guess there's pockets where there's still a lot of trust.
I guess so, especially in 2009.
Yeah.
Oh. And then it's, dude, where's my Cessna?
I forgot about that movie. So Colt could have waited for the airport gate to open as he approached it, but instead he used a more efficient method.
Okay.
He smashed through it.
Oh, there you go. Wasn't it a Toyota Corolla? It's
yeah.
a very big vehicle.
It must have been out of a very strong gate bar thing that came down either. I don't know.
More ornamental than anything. I really wonder, though, it's funny because he does so many things that you're like, wow, that's smart, and he's able to fly these planes and pilot these boats, and then he does stuff like ram that, and you're like, what?
Stuff that's just dumb.
That's just dumb. and you remember that he's just a kid, and he's just really just out here doing things for fun.
Yeah. That's the thing you got to remember is a lot of these stories you're picturing someone much older. He's just a kid. He's in his teens, like late teens at best now.
Crazy.
Okay. Through the gate, he was back on his way to the land of overpriced health care. Bonners Ferry, Idaho, is a small town with about 2,500 people it can claim as citizens. Pat Gardner moved to the area from Los Angeles after serving many years as a public defender, specializing in child abuse cases. When he fell in love with the Northwest, he brought his plane along, a 2005 Cessna 182 Turbo Skylane.
Yeah, whenever a plane gets brought up in this story, you just know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry.
And for our listeners, typically Idaho is considered Northwest. Sometimes it's not.
I would say so.
So that's a point of contention.
I would say so, but it is, yeah.
So
geographically, it definitely is. Politically, sometimes not.
No. So, at the local airport, Colt got into one of the hangars with a key he had found.
My goodness.
Once he was inside, Colt took whatever suited his fancy, whether it was a GPS system or a digital camera, but a bigger prize was on his mind, of course. He tripped across a $2 million Piper Meridian, but even the wily Bandit thought that was too much horsepower for him. Mm-hmm. That's when he saw Pat's Cessna Skylane, the Goldilocks plane he was looking for. Colt managed to get into the plane through the passenger side. He used his tried and tested method of jamming a screwdriver into the ignition to start the plane, of which of course worked.
This is not this episode not brought to you by Cessna anti-theft measures.
No, not at all. Okay. Two workers who were nearby outside heard the plane from a distance, but they stopped working because the sound coming from the plane's engine did not sound normal at all. Yeah.
Was it because he was, the ignition system wasn't going off correctly? Is it?
Later speculation from Pat Gardner suggests the pilot who had took his plane either had the prop at the wrong pitch or had left the flaps down.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So someone who's not entirely sure what they're doing, in other words.
Yeah.
Others said the pilot decided not to use the proper runway, but instead the smaller taxiway. So he's using the wrong area, too.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever the case, the plane was revved up to full throttle, but it did not take off nearly as fast as it should, and, it was heading right for a stand of trees.
Yeah, because it's just not getting the height necessary.
No. So this thing is just buzzing along down the entire runway.
Oh, my God.
And it should have taken off a long time ago, and everyone's watching this going, he's going to hit the trees. He's going to hit the trees.
And they're probably thinking, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
Yeah, that too, yeah.
What happened to Bob, right? Was it Bob?
Pat.
Pat. Okay,
Yeah.
Bob was earlier.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, the spectators watched in amazement as the plane finally shot into the air and just made it barely over the trees.
Everybody's there like, what the hell happened to Pat? What is Pat? Why is Pat even here? I didn't see Pat's car. There's just a busted up 2009 Toyota Corolla with the whole front bumper missing.
Well, maybe Pat was drunk.
I don't know.
So
Pat's getting an FUI. Flying under the influence.
I think some people at the airport were on the same page you were. So, unlike the road crew, who ultimately did not think much of what they saw, a local pilot who was there early in the morning knew for certain that something was wrong, so he called Pat right away.
Yeah.
When Pat answered the phone, his pilot buddy asked him, quote, "You out flying this morning, Pat?" Pat's reply was, "No."
That's not a great... I like the idea that the friend at that moment has information that is going to change Pat's life. And he's just like, how do I tell him this?
I mean, how do you tell someone that?
I don't know. You're just like, hey, I like the idea that he has to ask, are you out flying, as if the guy would answer his phone in the plane. I don't know if people do that. It just sounds like something people wouldn't do. Hey, Pat, are you drunk off your ass right now? You almost just crashed. And the guy's like, what are you talking about?
His friend continued with, quote, "Well, your hangar door's up, the back door is busted again, and your plane's gone." Pat told him to call 911, and he was on his way.
That's a short conversation.
Yeah. The 911 call did not end up entirely involving the local police, however, since airplane thefts are so rare, it got the attention of the FBI.
Yep. And I'm guessing the FAA and...
Uh-huh. The plane Colt had stolen had a range of at least 700 miles, so he had plenty of options of where to go, but the reason for his flight path is only known to him. Colt soared to Walla Walla in eastern Washington, where the onions come from.
Yep.
And headed northwest for Moses Lake. For whatever reason, he made his way around Granite Falls in Idaho. Perhaps Colt had learned from his first flight, so this time he avoided crossing the Cascade Mountain Range. By this point, he knew he was running low on fuel and would have to land soon. To make matters worse, he had ran into weather problems.
Yeah, that tends to happen around here.
Mm-hmm. He encountered mist and consequently started experiencing visibility problems. Desperately trying to keep control of the plane, Colt ended up adding some aeronautical stunts to his list of experiences. He would claim later that at one point he was flying the plane upside down until he was able to spin it around again.
Oh my God. On the list of things that could possibly go wrong in this guy's life, right? I mean, you're flying without ATC, so you could just hit another plane or helicopter, right? I guess this area of Washington's pretty sparse with plane traffic, but not barren, definitely. He has no instrumentation. He can't read the instruments. He's flying upside down. I mean,
his life was going wrong when it started. But it's going wrong now still. But he seems to still keep walking away from one thing after the other.
Yeah, it's just impossible.
So, dangerous. Yeah, I read that. Dangerous. No, we'll start over again here.
That's fine.
Dangerously low on fuel. Things were not looking good for him. But thankfully, a treeless area appeared where he could land the plane. Luck was on Colt's side again, or so he thought.
Okay.
When he got closer, and probably to his horror, he saw that it was not a treeless meadow, but a clear-cut patch that had been logged recently, so it was now covered in hazardous stumps.
Oh.
Which is a common sight around the Northwest.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In other words, it was a war zone of woody landmines that could easily destroy the plane and the pilot.
Probably quite honestly even worse than just trying to put it down into the trees. The stumps, you're going to hit one and just the plane's going to flip.
Yeah. The plane was screaming its way down toward the field while it was traveling at speeds that were far too fast even for a proper runway. Colt, while wrestling with the controls, lowered the flaps, but at this speed, it caused the plane to veer downward even more violently. The plane smashed into the ground, and the landing gear was quickly ripped off from the jagged stumps. By the jagged stumps.
Yep.
The The stump smashed, ripped, and tore into the plane, and all while the pilot was bouncing around inside.
My God.
The blades of the prop cut into the soil like a giant saw, causing an explosion of earth and floor cover debris. But finally, the plane had come to a stop.
It just defies logic. So, somewhere Pat just feels a disturbance in the force.
Yeah, he does.
It's like, oh, well.
It's like Alderaan. Yeah.
I like to think that there was a work crew out, there. Hey, we got to go clear these stumps today. All right. And just walk out there into plane. That's new. Thank God I didn't want to work today.
So an impact this violent would typically have killed the pilot since his body would have smashed into the controls of the plane, but at the last second, the airbag went off, cushioning him from such a fate. I didn't know planes had airbags, but it makes sense. Yeah.
Today I learned.
Yep. Colt was battered and bruised, but nonetheless, he was alive. For a minute, he didn't think he would be. So for a minute, he was there for a bit, okay? And then he wisely postulated the plane might catch fire.
Yeah,
all right.
Logical.
All right. He tried to open the pilot's side door. It would not open.
Yeah,
right.
It's probably smashed.
Colt flung himself to the other side of the plane and tried the passenger door, which opened. He ran to the tree line, waiting to see if the plane might possibly explode, but it did not. So he went back and got his things. He started his way back to civilization through the woods, leaving a trail of bare footprints behind him.
Do we know where this was at?
This is in Idaho, somewhere in Idaho.
Gotcha.
I know that for certain. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Just trying to think. I mean, that whole eastern part of Washington, that northern part of Idaho, there ain't a lot out there.
No, there's not. What was left of the plane looked like it had been tossed into a giant blender and tossed out again.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Brad Hernicke, who investigated the incident on behalf of Aviation Underwriters Incorporated, had this to say after seeing the wreck. Quote, "It's incredible that anyone walked away from that crash."
You would say so.
Yeah.
It's incredible that he keeps getting away with this. So this is 2 major plane crashes, and a couple of successful-ish landings now. So we're like 50%. And, could be worse.
Yeah. February 2010.
Okay.
Vancouver, BC was a hopping place since it was hosting the Winter Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
With all the people traveling to see the bobsleds zoom down the track and the hockey players on the constant attack, aviation authorities were on guard in the event of a possible terrorist threat due to the games.
Yeah, I guess it makes a lot of sense.
This made it easy for them to notice that a small plane had taken off from Anacortes, Washington.
Who could that be?
It was owned by Jeff Hendricks, but Jeff was not flying the plane.
Can we get like a support group for these guys? I've had my plane stolen by Colton.
Yeah. I'm Jeff, and I had my plane stolen by Colton.
Hi, Jeff.
When the plane entered into the exclusion zone, it did not emit the transponder it was required to do, so the authorities started tracking the plane.
Yep.
They continued to monitor it, but with some surprise and confusion due to its eccentric flight path.
As in, the person flying doesn't know how to fly.
Doesn't really know how to fly a plane. The aircraft, which was another Cirrus SR-22, eventually landed at an airport on Orcas Island.
It's so predictable. Colton, you're getting predictable.
Hold that thought, because it gets worse and worse and worse.
Okay.
The aircraft was found in some muddy grass next to the runway. It was a bit banged up, but was still flyable nonetheless.
We're improving. You're good to land in, near the airport rather than in a field with stumps. So getting better on our choices here.
Yeah. Naturally, the pilot was not there when the plane was discovered. It would not take long for the residents of Orcas to figure out who had probably been flying it.
Yeah, well, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 53 times. I mean, come on, folks. At this point, we got to send out, can we send an email to every small airport that's like, hey, I don't know, just an idea. Lock your doors. Consider. Don't leave the keys in. Consider. Maybe put some blocks under the wheels. I don't know. Just something to consider.
And that's the funny thing. That I don't know for certain if no one did do that, but it sounds like no one actually did do that.
It makes a lot of... I mean, your attitude earlier was like, who's going to steal a plane? I mean, nobody would do that. I mean, it's with respect to the fact that if you don't know what you're doing, it's basically suicide, unless you're Colton, that is. Nobody would do it.
No.
You know?
So, Kyle Adder, great name.
Average name.
Yeah. Was the owner of Homegrown, an organic grocery store in Orcas Island.
Oh, okay.
Is this a Kyle thing?
I don't... Organic's kind of a scam, but, to each their own, as we previously talked about.
The laid-back and all-natural Kyle has recently earned the nickname Dirty Harry.
Wow. Okay, hang on. What do I got to do for that? Look, you can't Did he self-anoint the nickname? Because if you do, that's just lame.
This is what you got to do to earn this nickname, okay?
Okay.
Because he started sleeping in his store while packing a Smith & Wesson 44 Magnum when all the break-ins had started happening.
just psychotic. This is psychotic. Also, I don't think that, I'm not a lawyer, as I famously say, but even if somebody breaks into your store and wants to steal some cheese, I don't think you can shoot them. I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, so I've taken some gun safety classes, and again, I'm not a lawyer, so don't quote me on this. Unless they are coming at you with the intent of harming you, if you shoot someone, you are SOL. You will be in court for a very long time.
Yeah.
So do not. Apparently, I would have been told, do not even point a gun at somebody unless they're pointing one at you. So
we get a Dirty Harry situation here. Yeah, again, maybe stick to Kyle.
I'm not a lawyer.
Okay. You can always err on the side of aiming less guns at people. Though. I think that's pretty good place to start.
Generally, a good advice overall. Yeah. So
that's a pretty good place to start.
Okay. The morning after the mystery plane had landed, Dirty Harry Hippie would be in for a surprise when he walked into his store. The store had been broken into.
Oh.
And to add insult to injury, 38 bare footprints had been drawn on the floor with an additional message that read, quote, "See ya." See the letter apostrophe YA.
Very good.
Okay.
Efficient.
The deputies did not take any evidence since the lab was already backlogged with other evidence.
I mean, guys, the lab is backlogged with all the ridiculous evidence that we've been getting. What are we doing?
I don't know.
What are we doing?
They also thought it was not likely a copycat crime since writing footprints on the floor was not Colt's MO. But while they were still at the store, a call came in about the plane that had been found at the airport. Between the prints in the airport, apparently everyone there all at once said, quote, "It's him." So now they believe it.
Tell you what, Sherlock Holmes, you are unbelievable.
Yeah. No shit, Sherlock, quite literally in this case. So this is interesting, okay. The Cyrus, I don't know if it's Cirrus or Cyrus, it's Cirrus.
Okay.
Okay, so if there's a plane nut out there, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, sorry.
We apologize.
Yeah. So it was brought back to the hangar of Chuck Stewart.
Okay.
Okay.
This is on Orcas.
Okay. His real name is not known due to privacy.
Okay? Oh, okay. This is a pseudonym.
But he was the former CEO of a sportswear company. And think about where we're at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Have any hazards of who this might be?
Yeah. It adds. Yeah.
I don't know this for certain, but this could be Phil Knight.
It's possible.
Possible.
It's possible.
Again, listeners, I don't know. Okay, but Phil Knight is the founder and CEO of Nike, which is based in Beaverton, Oregon. So,
yeah. It's possible. It's not 100% though.
No, it could be someone completely different.
And also, Phil Knight's so public. Why would it matter? Why would he feel the need to react?
Yeah, who knows? This could be a guy who just owns some Big Five franchises or something like that. I don't know. But anyway,
I made it big in Big Five.
I don't know if Big Fives are franchises now. Think about it. This is a guy that could have owned some independent ski stores. Okay, I'll go with that.
It's probably like Jim's Tackle or something like that.
Jim's Tackle. Yeah. Okay. Chuck was now on high alert. Okay. Part of the reason for this was that he had his own planes stashed away in his hangar, including an amphibious de Havilland Beaver and a turboprop Palantis made in Switzerland that was valued at least $4 million.
I've got a great idea to keep these from being stolen. Take one of the wheels off. You've done it. It's all you need to do. I mean, you've done it.
Right.
You've secured the plane. I mean, the problem is the plane is in functioning order when he goes to get it. I don't know. Just one wheel off.
Knowing this kid, though, is he'll go out into the woods, carve a piece of wood into a cylinder, and throw it underneath there. I mean,
it's a real Flintstones vehicle. Yabba-dabba-doo. Unreal, man. Unreal. It's true. He probably would do that.
To make them even more attractive to a teenage aviation enthusiast.
Yeah.
The plane sported cool and flashy paint jobs.
Yep, that'll do it.
With all this in mind, Chuck Stewart was understandably worried about his property. With the help of his wealth and power, Chuck pulled in every form of law enforcement he could on Orcas Island. So, the islanders were accustomed to the sound of the waves of the ocean and the laughter of seagulls, but they were not accustomed to the obnoxious racket of the UH-60-A Black Hawk helicopter that Homeland Security brought in to survey the island in hopes of spotting Colt.
Well, it's good that somebody's taking this seriously for once. Kind of feels like a bit of an escalation, but that's kind of kind of what we needed at a certain point.
So, additionally, aside from the San Juan County deputies, there was Whatcom County SWAT, Washington State Patrol, K-9 units with faithful German shepherds smelling for bare feet.
No shoes here.
Yeah. DHS agents and FBI agents that were all swarming the island with one goal: apprehend the Barefoot Bandit.
And this is, in large part, probably due to the fact that the Vancouver games were going on.
One, he's leaving a trail of crimes. Two, I think that is kind of part of this too.
Sort of the, yeah.
And then there's this wealthy man on the island that throw all those caveats in there. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
So, to quote the author Bob Frill, who, the book where a lot of this information came from, quote, idyllic Orcas Island looked like a war zone. Residents gathered at windows and on the street, craning their necks to watch the helicopter, then shaking their heads as men in body armor with automatic weapons strode up and down the roads. This is the Blues Brothers, in other words.
Yeah. Seems a bit much, considering at least up until the point in the way that we've told the story, it's been a lot of like guys at airports like, "Hey Pat, are you flying today?"
Yeah.
Now it's like full scale warfare.
180, yeah.
Yeah.
To make even matters worse for Colt, the rednecks of the island grabbed their guns with the intention of taking justice into their own hands. So this is the Blues Brothers. I mean, rednecks kind of are Nazis, so now we got the Nazis involved too.
We got everything.
Yeah.
What's crazy about this is that other than being really a danger to himself, Colton's never hurt anybody as far as I remember.
No, he's stolen a lot of stuff, but he's never physically harmed anyone. No, he's not known. So he's not a violent criminal.
Mm.
So kind of on that note, Scott Lancaster, who was observing, commented, "I thought this was not good." So he's really worried that someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And this is way over the top.
Yeah. As per our earlier conversation, less guns pointed at people are usually good, but...
Yeah. So even though Colt had the heat on him, to say the least, he still made return trips to Chuck Stewart's property. Maybe it was the simple need to steal whatever he needed to survive, but it also could have been he just could not get enough of the airplane Stewart had tucked away in the hangar. He just loves planes. Just being around them, he's happy. That's what I gathered. So, whatever the case, Stewart did not appreciate the break-ins. The FBI, by tracing a call on Colt's mother's phone, found out there were calls coming to her from the Stewart household, confirming their suspicions Colt was hiding out there. With this revelation, law enforcement decided they were going to conduct a major operation upon the Stewart house. The operation was planned for March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. It's already a bad omen.
There you go. Yeah. Everybody had a Guinness after.
The FBI and SWAT teams were stealthily hiding out on a back road that led to the Stewart house. The road was silent. Then a lone truck came traveling down the road. The FBI let it pass without much thought. Colt was the one driving the truck.
It's just one truck. What could it have? The guy?
This is like stormtroopers from Star Wars.
It's literally like that. Like,
okay,
hey,
move
that's
along.
The guy. Like, what? It's a comedy of errors. You know, I hesitate to blame too many of the owners of the planes, knowing that, you know, all the things we've talked about. But, like, come on. What could this one truck have? Just the guy we need?
Just the guy we need.
It's like, well, no need to stop the truck. I mean, guy's only known for stealing other vehicles. What could it be?
What could it be? So, there are different stories about what happened next. As the FBI was waiting in the Stewart house, some say Colt walked to the house, opened the door, heard a noise, and then bolted. Others say he turned on the lights knowing the FBI was already there to throw them off. In either case, Colt did what he knew best. He ran. The fuzz was hot in his trail, and Colt ended up being cornered into Lover's Cove. In other words, things did not look good for him at all. Meanwhile, Donna and Henry McNeil were fast asleep in their home near Lover's Cove. Their peaceful slumber was interrupted when the helicopter's lights flooded their bedroom like the inside of a tanning bed. She went to the window and saw the helicopter buzzing above as it was dropping the tactical team to search the ground below.
Oh, my gosh.
It's like he killed the president.
Yeah. Honey, you have anything you want to tell me?
Donna turned on the police scanner, where she had learned the authorities were hunting for someone. She then called the sheriff's office. They told her to keep calm and to stay in the house. Henry was not a fan of this advice.
Yeah.
Quote, "Horse shit, this is my property," he proclaimed. Henry proceeded to arm himself with his .45 and marched his way out of the house while wearing nothing but his bathrobe.
Yeah. Henry's a G. Dirty Henry.
Dirty Henry. Probably while groveling, he stomped his way to the tree line where he saw a multitude of flashlight beams that was accompanied with a cacophony of voices and radio communication.
Uh-huh.
Do you think this is Colton? Probably not.
Just going to take a wild guess here and say no.
One of the flashlight beams instantly illuminated him.
Uh-huh.
A loud voice boomed, "Halt! FBI! FBI! FBI!" Henry flung his arms into the air in his bathrobe and riposted with, "Homeowner! Homeowner!"
And then they saw he had slippers on, and they're like, "This isn't the guy. Hang on. Hang on." There's a sniper 500 meters away.
Don't shoot.
Yeah, looking at his toenails like, this ain't, no, too clean. This ain't the guy.
After the confusion had been settled, Henry was told to go back to his house, but he refused and continued to look around the property.
Dickhead.
Like Joe Pesci from Home Alone.
Yeah. What a great way to get shot by police, too. Just carrying around my .45. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So he went and checked out a blue truck he had, I guess to see if maybe someone was hiding in it.
Uh-huh.
There was no one in there. So apparently...
I thought it wasn't going to be there.
Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
I'd like to report a theft.
Yeah. Guys look a little busy, but I got something I need to tell you.
Yeah. This is a bad time.
Apparently doing that satisfied him, so Henry returned to his dwelling. With the big raid a big failure, the authorities declared that apprehending Colton Harris-Moore was an ongoing investigation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It has been an investigation for a while, but I've kind of noticed this in history when the FBI just routinely screws up, then it just becomes an ongoing investigation.
It's ongoing. Yeah. It's not a failure, it's continued success. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to get there.
Colt, meanwhile, was not showing any cowardice since he continued to return to the places he had already burgled beforehand.
Yeah. Not very imaginative, this one.
No. So, during this time, Colt's mother, Pam, had been in communication with author Bob Frill. Bob, at the time, was writing a blog about the Barefoot Bandit.
The Barefoot Bandit blog, some would say.
Here's on a side note here. Okay, I'm surprised that Tarantino hasn't poked his head around the corner the entire time we've been recording this. Did someone say feet?
Yeah. I did see somebody out the window. I don't know. Could be.
It's like you guys were talking about feet a lot.
This is not Christina Harris-Moore, though. This is Colton Harris-Moore, unfortunately.
He's like,
yeah.
He just sulks off.
Yeah.
Colt's mother one day asked Bob for a favor. Through his blog, she asked him to let Colt know to give her a sign that he was all right.
Oh, so she was under the impression that he was reading it.
Yes,
okay.
Which he probably was.
Gotcha.
And she's worried that maybe he's dead or something by now. Okay.
Yeah. He probably should be, by all means. That's a fair assumption, honestly.
So the next day, Bob. So he did write a blog. Okay. The next day, Bob was heading down the road. When he was about to cross a bridge, he hit the brakes because of what he saw. A 13-foot-long barefoot had been drawn on the bridge. And that is the end of part 3.
The Barefoot Bridge Bandit.
How do you feel?
That episode was crazy. That one really cranked it up. I have this vivid vision of the plane, not so much landing, but crumpling in this field with all the stumps. I'll repeat it again. One, quit leaving your keys and shit. I mean, come on. At this point, we got to figure that out, folks. And two, how could they not apprehend this guy when he's very easy to identify? Pick this guy out of a lineup. Only one guy's not wearing shoes.
And he's almost 6'5".
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And he's a teenager. All right. Well, folks, we're not done yet. We're still going after this one here. So
this is the halfway mark.
Yeah, this is the halfway mark. I can't believe this is only halfway through this. All right. So once again, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Kyle, for coming on once again. And by all means, go into the description box, check out some of the links we have there, some of the additional media and content we are providing for our loyal listeners. So until next time, take it easy, and we look forward to you listening again.
See ya.
All right, signing out.